Oh my goodness, today I'm coming to you with the craziest expat alert that I may have ever seen in my entire life. Now, by now, you've probably heard. Mexico deploys the army as the cartel escalates violence. See, the Mexican army decided they need to follow President Donald Trump's orders. President Donald Trump told the Mexican government, I need you to get a handle on the cartel or else I'm going to solve it. The way he solved it for Nigeria, the way he's about to solve it for Iran. And Mexico, they obliged. They said, yes, we'll go ahead and fix this cartel issue. So much so that they took out the leader of one of the Mexican cartels. I believe it's the most powerful cartel that exists within Mexico. But here's the thing, the violence didn't stop there. Oh no, now the cartel is going around Mexico and all of these different cities that I'm gonna read to you, and they are terrorizing citizens. I have seen videos. Shout out to Melanie King's YouTube. I'm gonna leave her video below, because I have seen video where they are setting civilians ablaze at gas stations. Yes, they're not stealing from them. They're not doing whatever theft stuff that they do. No, they are setting people ablaze when they go to the gas station. And so this is truly an expat alert for North America, Central America right now. But here's the thing. Americans and Mexicans and other expats in Mexico cannot leave. The flights are grounded. They cannot get in, they cannot get out, and so they have to shelter in place, and you just pray that they are in a safe space right now. And see, when a government moves from policing to military mobilization, it's not posturing. It's reacting to a loss of control. And it matters deeply for you as an expat, for you as a traveler, a retiree, a family who is living in Mexico, or you rely on Mexico as a regional hub. Because this cartel violence is not necessarily anything new, but the nature and the visibility of the violence on a worldwide stage is hitting new levels. These recent incidents show cartels targeting civilians, and it's pretty strange to witness. Now, the Mexican government's response has been that of military units being deployed, operation expanded across affected regions, and this is a line governments do not lightly cross either. It's not framed as just crime. It's framed as national security for the country of Mexico altogether. Now, this is why military mobilization in Mexico is a serious signal that you need to pay attention to. So here's the reality of the situation. The Mexican police have been compromised. First, the local law enforcement is overwhelmed, okay? Second, the threat has surpassed routine containment to more militarized strategies. Third, the government is preparing for sustained fixes, and the U.S. is actively telling the Mexican government, if you need us to send troops down there, we will. No matter the fact that Trump also may have to send troops to Iran, he's saying we can do both at the same time, because remember what happened between America and Venezuela when he captured Nicolas Maduro. President Trump is very hands-on in this time. The U.S. military, I believe, has now gotten enough practice out in the open. Forget, the practice that happens behind the scenes. They are initiating these missions and they are successful in these missions. And so this may be another practice for the U.S. military to see, okay, how many situations can we publicly handle, not behind the scenes at military bases, but publicly handle as the world descends into chaos. And if you are in Central America right now, or you are in North America or even South America, I have a few questions for you. You may even want to pause this video, take out pen and paper, because you need to understand, am I located near areas of military activity or cartel influence? This is why it's so important as an expat to know the regions in which you go in, to understand the cities, to understand the neighborhoods, to understand what happens on the ground. How reliable is my access to transportation if operations expand? Do I have multiple exit routes, not just one plan? Are my documents currently easily accessible? And what would I do if movement were restricted for 7 to 14 days? Let's be real. There is a growing discussion in policy circles about cross-border implications of cartel violence from Brazil to Mexico to obviously Venezuela and any other countries down there that are impacted by cartel violence, particularly when civilians are targeted and state authority is challenged. A country can easily descend into chaos with something so public happening, where the cartels themselves are openly coming at Mexican government, Mexican police, civilians, just terrorizing them, literally lighting them on fire at gas stations. Like, let's just marinate on that for a second and understand. Again, go to Melanie King's video. She has the videos of this actually happening, because a few tourists in the area had actually uploaded, a few Mexicans as well had uploaded what it looks like right now on the ground, and I'm telling you, it looks absolutely insane. Okay, now, this does not mean foreign troops are imminent. It doesn't mean the U.S. is going to invade tomorrow, but Mexico has that option if they feel overwhelmed. President Donald Trump has no problem sending the military in. He has shown this even with cities within America itself. Now, with this situation drawing more attention, it does make you look at national security. It makes you look at your insurance coverage and diplomatic coordination. These shifts often happen pretty quietly at first, but by the time the headlines confirm what's happening, it's already too late. Policy language creates the signal. This is why we have these expat alerts, so you can understand the underlying issues when you are traveling abroad. This is one reason we are of the belief that staying in the Americas, North, Central, and South, just is not the right option. There's too much violence, too many cartels, too many drug wars and lords and all these different things that they have that you just don't really see out here in the Indian Ocean as much, okay? Now, as an expat, you need to pay attention to your travel advisories, the U.S. Embassy, which I'll bring up in just a minute and read what they're saying from the embassy website. Embassy guidance updates, expanded military checkpoints and curfews. Follow those curfews, because these indicators tell you more than viral footage ever can. If you're already in Mexico, there's not much you can do except go to safe spaces, have a network. This is also why it's so important to communicate with local people, because nobody can tell you more about Mexico than Mexicans. Nobody can tell me more about Mauritius than Mauritians. Nobody could tell me more about Tanzania than Tanzanians, and Kenya than Kenyans, and vice versa all over the world. So understand, you also have to come out of those expat circles and understand where the safe places are, where the dangerous places are, what some of the geopolitics are, and what some of the issues underlyingly are, because this cartel issue, I'm assuming for Americans that are not on cloud nine, this has been brewing for a while. Now, if you forgot, Mexico is a regional hub for tourism. Now, on the U.S. Embassy website, they sent a warning out for Tulum, Mexico, an area entrepreneurs, investors love to go. And I know some of my entrepreneurial acquaintances, they live in Tulum, Mexico. And so that's one of the regions that's actually being affected and impacted right now. I'm not sure if some of those entrepreneurs are down there just sheltering in place or how that's working for them. But remember, people also go to Mexico to retire. People go there for vacations. Mexico is that hub that is in the Americas, okay, where people love to go, love to travel, all the things. But this moment is not about panicking. This moment is about preparation before it becomes too late. You don't have to abandon Mexico or demonize the people. I'm sure the Mexican people are amazing people. Of course, not the cartels, but the regular citizens. It's more about recognizing when a system can collapse, recognizing the risk factors. This is what we go over in the Mature Adult Intensive, which comes back March 8th, I believe. I have to check my calendar, but go to www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services to find out when the next spot in the Mature Adult Intensive is open, because we're opening cohort 6 here soon. Now, wise expats, listen early, move calmly, and prepare deliberately. Preparedness is not alarmism, it's sovereignty. Stay informed, stay flexible, and remember, keep your eyes open for what's going on. Now let's head to the U.S. Embassy website. So I'm literally on the U.S. Embassy website for Mexico as we are speaking. Security alert, ongoing security operations, U.S. mission to Mexico, February 22nd. So they published this yesterday. The locations are Jalisco State, including Puerto Vallarta, Chapala, Guadalajara, Tamaulipas State, including Reynosa and other municipalities, areas of Michoacán State, Guerrero State, and Nuevo León State. The event that's happening is due to ongoing security operations, related road blockages. That's also what I saw in that video I was talking about earlier that Melanie King posted yesterday. They are blocking roads so that civilians can't get through the roads. Not the military, not even the government, but the actual Mexican cartels who are basically wanting vengeance for the death of their leader. U.S. citizens in named locations must shelter in place until further notice. Now, here are the actions that the U.S. Embassy is telling you to take. Avoid areas around law enforcement activity. Be aware of your surroundings. Seek shelter and minimize unnecessary movements. Monitor local media updates. Follow directions of local authorities. In case of an emergency, call 911. Avoid crowds. Keep family and friends advised of how you are doing in these times. Whew, that's a little scary, isn't it? With everything that has happened with America, with Venezuela, now with Mexico, I think all of the Americas, North America, Central America, and South America are going through a very difficult phase. And quite honestly, I don't see it decreasing anytime soon. I see it escalating. I see that it will continue to escalate this year. It will continue to escalate to the point where U.S. troops need to be in Mexico, need to be in Colombia, need to be in all of these areas that are in Central and South America. And so again, the question goes back to you as an expat, as a traveler. Are these the locations that you want to be in? Because you have Sub-Saharan Africa, the Indian Ocean, South Asia, Southeast Asia. You have other places and other options that you can go to as an expat. Pay attention to that. Again, in closing, the Mexican military, their army has killed the top cartel leader. They had the capabilities to do it. The U.S. could have assisted them with that process. Whenever it's clear for you as someone that's an expat in Mexico to leave, you may want to do that. You may want to just exit altogether, because this could be a situation that does not decrease, but this is really a pivotal turning point for Mexico where more escalations can happen, because surely the cartel is not just gonna let this one go. And do you want to be on the wrong side of that when all of that happens? Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video.